Hi there, Andre here from Peak Motorcycles. I'm going to do the video about the Mosko Moto Mule adventure roller, which is this enormous piece of luggage in front of me. This does not go on a bike. Let's be 100% clear. This is not something you're going to try and strap down to your bike because it is vast. So what's it for? So last year I did 5 trips away where I flew, rented a bike, rode around where I happened to end up, and then flew home again. And to do that, I take a holdall that contains all my riding gear. Normally on the way home, it's my muddy trousers, my muddy jacket, definitely my muddy boots. And though I can try and clean everything off in the hotel, that's always a bit tricky. The other problem is what to do with your helmet. So I tend to take my helmet as hand luggage, and it means sometimes I can't take any other hand luggage. And I do run the risk of it getting knocked, getting dropped, who knows what happens. Now, I know that you can quite often just rent equipment when you get there, but I'm a bit particular about that and I like to take my own stuff. That's just me. So last year at the Motorcycle Live Show in Birmingham, I passed the Mosko Moto stand and saw this. Now, first of all, elephant in the room, and it might as well be an elephant, it's that big. It is huge, it is absolutely massive. If I just turn it up so you can see it like that. In fact, if I turn it, I've got a GoPro here as well, so I can show you on the GoPro. So this whole thing is 175 litres if you expand everything. So what that means is it's 110 for the bottom bit. Then the top bit, if it's like in this format, is another 40 litres. Then this top bit actually expands further to make another 25 litres on top. So that would be 65, this would be 110, and the whole thing together is 175 litres. Now, I'm not going to go through everything on it because Mosko Moto have a pretty good website that has all of that. But what I am going to do is show you what I think it's good for and a few things around how much it weighs. So first up, I'll show you how it comes apart. So this is the top piece. The clips are actually from the bottom bit. You can't see it on this side, but believe me, there is a Velcro strap in there. Take that off. And then in here, this panel just zips off. So there we go. I get the feeling I'm going to do a lot of walking in this video. So first of all, I'm going to show you this top one. So this is like a thin bag inside here. Open that up. It has compartments, 2 of them. And when I went to South Africa in December, I'm going to show you what that looks like on the inside. It has a shoulder strap. It is also expandable. So to make it even bigger, I'm just going to take that off around the outside. There we go, there's the zip. So if you needed the extra space, oops, nearly there. There we go, so that's how you make that the biggest. As you can see, that is another massive holdall, so I've never actually used it in that configuration. For the simple reason being weight. You can have a bag as big as you like, but if it's too heavy to take on a plane, then it's pretty much useless. So, when I went to South Africa, I was fortunate to go in premium economy, so I could take 2 bags. So even though the 2 of these combined were above my 23 kilo baggage allowance, it meant that I could unzip that, check it in as 2 bags without any extra cost, and that worked. It was quite nice at the other end to be able to zip it back together again, to get out to try and get into the taxi and only really have 1 bag to worry about. If you've ever traveled with multiple pieces of luggage, it's kind of a pain. I know these are all first world problems, but bear with me. Right then, so the bigger bit of the bag, I'm now going to show you what's in here. So this has 2 compartments. In this one, the end compartment, you actually get this helmet bag. Now I've got my LS2 Explorer carbon in there because that's what I'm taking on my next trip. So I'll leave that there. In the main pocket, you get a few things. So I have a backpack. I have my Climb Carlsbad suit, trousers, and a jacket. Now you also get 3 of these packing cubes. I don't know if you can see that. So this is essentially just a thing for putting stuff in. All 3 of them are expandable. So there's another zip. There we go. Another zip on here that expands out. So you can essentially put stuff in and pack it down really small. And you get a small one. Sorry, 2 small ones. And then you get a large one as well for clothes. Chuck those there. The next thing I want to show you is that in here I also have this, which is a boot bag. Don't know if you can see that. I'll show you on the GoPro. This is my pair of City Adventure 2 boots in there. Let's pop that down there. And then I had some socks because I just threw something else in. So as you might be able to tell, I am just packing for my Colombia trip. But as I was packing, I thought this is maybe what people are interested in knowing. The problem that I have with the bag is that essentially it's quite heavy, especially with 2 parts. And most of the time I fly economy where I can take 1 piece of luggage. So what I wanted to show you was that if I pack this up with everything you see here, and then I'm going to weigh it. So I'm just going to close that up for a moment. I'm sure this weight is on the Mosko Moto website, but sometimes it is nice just to verify these things. I'm not going to do it on a scale, but I'm just going to lift that up. And empty, that weighs 12.1 kilograms, which is a problem. I'm sure you'll agree. If you've only got a 23 kilo baggage limit, having 12.1 for an empty bag, well, it's like having metal boxes on a motorcycle. I'll also weigh the other half, just so you can see what that is. Again, just zip that up again. And this half is 2.5 kilos. So that half is quite lightweight. Nevertheless, between the 2 of these, if you did zip them together, that's over 14 kilos, which is well over half your baggage allowance. So for my trip to Colombia, for which I leave in a few days, I'm not going to take this top bit. So for now, I'm just going to put that to one side. So I'm flying with Avianca, and like many other airlines, their limit is 23 kilos. So what I essentially want to do is to see that when I put my City Adventure 2s in, when I put in my Mosko Moto Wildcat 12 backpack, when I put in some Climb Carlsbad trousers, I put in a Climb Carlsbad jacket, and all of these have got the body armour in. So they're as heavy as they will be. I don't have all my clothes here, but what I do have is some Peak Motorcycles merch. These are all the t-shirts for the Colombia trip. For the others, shameless plug, my one for me. Put that in there. So that's that pocket done. I'm just going to zip that up. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my helmet. Now, again, this is my LS2 Explorer Carbon. I'll pop that in there. It's got a padded top bit. It's actually not that padded on this bit, so I think I probably will put some extra clothes on top of that. You know what, I'll put those packing cubes because I'm going to take those as well. So let me zip all of that up. So that is the bag packed up. Now, I know what you're thinking, that isn't the only stuff I take, and you're right. However, I didn't really want to get all my laundry out on a video. So this is essentially to give you an idea of if you only have the bottom half of the bag, which is kind of the heavy bit, with a helmet, with a set of boots, with a set of riding gear, and some clothes. So now's the question, is how much does that weigh and how much more stuff could I put in this? Okay, after putting all my riding gear in, I'll just show that to the GoPro, I am at 19.1 kilos, which I actually don't think is bad. You know, if on top of what's in here, I had another 4 kilos for wash bag and incidental clothes, that is about fine. I think I could still be under 23 kilos with this bag, with all my riding gear. Maybe I'd take my backpack out and take that as my hand luggage. But otherwise, despite the weight, and maybe for those of you who have actually seen one of these in person and thought, nice idea, but it's just too heavy, I don't think it is. Now, I took this to South Africa in December 2023. I'm going to take it with me to Colombia in May 2024. I'm a big fan, you know, I mean, I think Mosko makes some really interesting luggage. Some of the bike luggage is very, very rugged. It's also kind of heavy and isn't always waterproof. I know you can get liners and things. This isn't bike luggage, it's not waterproof. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not waterproof. But if you do fly ride trips and you're trying to work out how you can reliably carry your gear, I think this is a great answer. I didn't mention it at the beginning, but I only really do reviews of gear that I use myself. I bought this myself with my own money, and it was my choice. And yeah, I've been really pleased with it. I did actually want to use it once. So for the South Africa trip, it was an opportunity just to see what was good and what wasn't. But yeah, I think it's great. If I had to pick out what's wrong with it, I think if you are allowed to take 2 pieces of luggage and you zip it together, then it does get pretty heavy. You could easily take close to 50 kilos. If you're traveling through an airport with smooth floors and on tarmac, that's not a problem. If you have to get it across gravel or grass, the wheels aren't very big, and suddenly you've got a very heavy bag to try and do that. Like I say, it's not waterproof, but I don't think it needs to be. My other holdalls that I take for traveling aren't. But yeah, all in all, I think it's a really nice idea. And if you want to travel easily with a motorcycle helmet and boots and gear and still be able to fit some other stuff in, then I think it's a great solution. Right then, that's it. I'm off to finish my packing for Colombia. So I hope that's been interesting and useful. If it has, please check out my other content. Maybe I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.